How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
the end. There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We've got some crazy content to cover today. Hey, you know, the first rule about being on my channel is don't fucking whine in my chat. Don't whine. Don't complain. The talking will start when I fucking say it does, and not a moment sooner. And if you want to complain about that, go somewhere else. There are a million places you can go on the internet. We are not complainers here, I'll tell you that. Welcome to the channel. Imagine the very first impression you make on me is you're whining in my chat because you cannot be patient. We are nothing if not patient on this channel, okay? So, today we are going to do something that I think that most people who are currently talking about the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis are not going to do. We are actually going to research. There are no. Everyone has to stop. You know, I've seen. I'm gonna be real honest. I've seen more than a few people from my community talking about how this person is a Marxist and making assumptions. And I hate to break it to you, that's not correct. And I'm going to prove to you that it's not correct. And I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with everyone making assumptions. Everyone's trying to tell me Karlyn is a queer killer. Okay, but he wasn't queer though. He wasn't. Let me just spoiler alert. And I posted a video about this earlier today. And we're going to go into much greater detail on this. The person that shot up the Catholic Church in this tragic incident, which I want to be as respectful of as possible, because kids died. Can we just say that? Kids died. It was a tragedy. I don't want to, unlike so many people on the internet, I don't want to make assumptions about, I am making a best guess about what I think happened, but what I'm not gonna do is use this moment to own the left. Or to, quite frankly, own the anti-Israel people. And I honestly think the behavior, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get into it, don't worry about it. But I honestly think the behavior and the absolute irresponsibility of a lot of people in this is, I'm not surprised, I'm just disappointed. I am not surprised, I am just disappointed. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we are going to talk about this. I also have another video I want to watch. I know it's unfortunate we're doing two different things in one stream. I will tell you what we're doing. The very first thing we're going to do today is we are going to do our due diligence. We are not going to make assumptions about anything. We are going to do our due diligence, and we are going to watch the final video of the person who does appear to be trans, but trans is not the same as queer. We're going to watch the final video of the person who shot up that Catholic church in Minneapolis. And we are going to read their manifesto word for word, because they posted their manifesto in the video. So this is the video. They uploaded an 11-minute video to a YouTube channel that, of course, got downloaded and is now all over the internet. I haven't actually watched the video yet, but I did read the manifesto. And the reason we have the manifesto is they posted it in the video, and so they have screenshots of the entire manifesto. We are going to watch the video, and we're going to look at the actual manifesto, and we're going to read it. And we are very solemnly and pragmatically going to do an analysis of whether or not we think this was a far-left queer Marxist. Now, what is not up for dispute, this person was absolutely trans. 100%. This person was trans. But that is not the same as a far-left queer Marxist. Now, this is not something... We have covered the difference between trans and queer on the channel many times, and I'm happy to do a little bit of a recap if people need that. But one of the things I don't actually talk about on the channel that much, that is very, very true, it's just not an area that I cover, is that there is a phenomenon among men who become trans women specifically, called autogynephilia. And autogynephilia is a sexual fetish where men really get off on looking like women and dressing like women and having the body of a woman. And many men, I'm not saying this is everyone. I think there are trans people that, like, honestly have some sort of mental health problem, like gender dysphoria, and they're becoming trans because it helps with their mental health problem. Okay, that's fine. Those people are usually not hurting anyone. I don't think those people should be allowed to live their life. There are a not insignificant number of men who become trans women because it is a sexual fetish. Now, there's also mental illness going on there too, but it's because it is a sexual fetish. And this is covered many other places. I'm not making shit up. I'm not telling tales out of school. What I cover is the radical revolutionary far left. And I would be the very first person on the internet, if I thought this person was a queer Marxist that was engaging in violence, I would literally be the very first person on the internet to say that. I am literally right now researching and writing a book about queer Marxism and the evolution of queer Marxism. I have delved deep into queer Marxist and narco-communist subcultures. Actually, I'm writing 2 different books. I'm writing a general book about the development of queer Marxism. I'm writing a much more specific book about the Mary Nardini Gang. The Mary Nardini Gang is a group of violent queer militants from the 2000s. I am intimately familiar with violent queer militancy. I have studied this probably more than any other person on YouTube, to be honest. From an anti-communist perspective, I have read all their materials. I have read probably thousands of documents created by violent, militant, queer Marxists, okay? If this person was a queer Marxist and they shot up a Catholic church, I would be the very first person screaming on top of the internet, this is a queer Marxist. Like, it is not out of the realm of possibility that queer Marxists do violence. There is an entire militant, violent queer activism movement called Bashback that we've covered on this channel several times. I don't think this person is a militant queer Marxist, though. I don't think that's what's going on. I think that what happened, and I'm going to give the spoiler alert, and then I'm going to back it up with other evidence. And some people might agree with some parts of my assessment and some people might disagree. And that's fine. This is my opinion about what happened. I believe that this person is trans because they have a sexual fetish. I believe that this person probably has that sexual fetish because they have a mental health problem. I believe they are severely mentally ill, which I think the manifesto is going to back up. I have a sneaking suspicion, based on some of the things I saw in the video, and based on the fact that this person's mother worked in the Catholic Church that he shot up, okay? I need to be very clear about this. There's a rumor going around that's started by exactly the people you think started it, that this person is Jewish. This person's mother worked for the Catholic Church that they shot up. I think this family was Catholic. I think that kid probably spent a lot of time running around a Catholic church. And I don't think there is an out of the realm possibility that this person wanted to violently attack a Catholic church because maybe, I'm just speculating, but this is my gut, maybe something happened between a priest and this person. Because for me, based on the evidence that I saw, and I know people are not going to like this, I think there's a pretty decent chance that something happened in that Catholic church that made this person, who obviously has mental illness, who probably transitioned as part of a sexual fetish, I think something probably happened in that church, perhaps involving a priest, that exacerbated or even caused this entire problem to begin with. And if this person was on hormones, I mean, let's be honest. If this is a trans woman, they're on estrogen, which is not the same as being on testosterone, okay? Like, if you look at some of the past trans shooters, and of course, there have been a whole bunch of trans shooters. No one's disputing that, right? But if you look at the trans shooters, they're typically female to male, which means they are on testosterone. Testosterone makes you aggressive. If this person is blocking their testosterone and on estrogen, that is a completely different problem, okay? And again, I'm not disputing the person's trans. I'm trying to explain what I think, again, from a very just pragmatic level. I'm not trying to do this to own the Catholic Church. I'm really not. By the way, I'm not trying to say the Catholic Church is horrible. I am merely stating a fact that there have been many instances over the years of problems of young boys who maybe were a little bit more feminine having run-ins with priests in Catholic Church. His mother worked in the Catholic Church, which means he probably was spending more time at the Catholic Church than most people. Obviously, I'm not trying to own anyone. I think all the people trying to use this to own the so-called Jew haters, or own the libs, or own this, or own that, or make some sort of fucking punchline. There are kids that died today There are parents who lost their kids today as they were praying at church. Whether or not you're a Christian, whether or not you're a churchgoer, whether or not you like Catholicism or any of that, that is a fucking tragedy. And the people who are using this to make a political point or to try to get one over on their political enemies, quite frankly, I find the whole thing to be fucking disgusting, and that's basically all I see on Twitter. And you know what? Republicans used to always get pissed off at the Democrats taking advantage of a tragedy. Every time there was a shooting of some sort, and the Democrats would come out and be like, we need sweeping gun reform. Everyone would get pissed off at the Democrats and say, can we just mourn this tragedy for like a day and a half before you guys start trying to make political points? And now the fucking Republicans are doing exactly the same thing. And I find the whole thing to be disgusting and distasteful. And I haven't seen a pragmatic or nuanced take on any of this. And it really just pisses me off. It really just pisses me off. Hang on, we got a super chat. Thank you, Rottweiler, for the super chat. I skimmed the manifesto and reached the same conclusion. It seems like it was more motivated by revenge. Queer has a very specific vocabulary. I saw nothing about private property or gender abolition in the manifesto. Yeah, there was nothing political in the manifesto, guys. There was nothing. There was no queer Marxist symbology. And we're gonna look at the video and we're gonna see all the stuff. There's no anarchy symbols. There's no fucking triangles. There's none of the symbols that we would normally see for queer Marxism. The manifesto is actually written in really nice handwriting, like shockingly nice handwriting. Like that handwriting is better than mine. When was the last time we saw a handwritten zine in handwriting this nice? This is, and when we actually read the manifesto, you guys are going to see, if you've ever read Queer Marxism with me, if you've ever studied Queer Marxism with me, this is not that. It's just not. And so I know that people want a certain answer, and I know that people want to hear something that backs up how they perceive the situation. And I know if you're Christian, especially if you're Catholic, you're probably really pissed off at me saying, I think this person got molested by a priest and that's why they shot up a Catholic church. You're probably pretty pissed at me, but my job is to call a spade. And my job is to present evidence and to analyze information. And again, if I thought this person was a queer Marxist, I would be the very first person screaming it. And I would be running around saying, this is queer Marxism. I would probably write about it in my book. Like, there's no reason for me to cover up if I'm just trying to be like, oh, I need to trick everyone to make them believe. There's no reason for me to do that. It would actually benefit me for this person to be a queer Marxist. But unlike the assholes on Twitter who take advantage of every opportunity to lie, to get a couple extra retweets or likes or maybe some more Elon bucks, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the evidence and I'm going to call a spade. And I don't think this person was a queer Marxist leftist. I think this was a mentally ill person that trans themselves as part of the sexual fetish, probably that was brought on by molestation by a priest when they were younger, when they were running around the Catholic Church that their mother worked in. That's what I think happened. And you can agree with me or you can disagree with me. And maybe it'll come out and I'm totally wrong. It's entirely possible. But I'm not wrong often, if we're honest about it. And the reason I'm not wrong often is I don't jump to conclusions on things. I actually look at the evidence. I try to take a really detached, pragmatic approach to say, this doesn't have to say what I want it to say. It is what it is. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video. We are going to watch the 11-minute video, the last thing they posted on their YouTube, and I'm quite frankly, like, I'm kind of scared to watch this. I've heard this video is crazy, but I wanted to wait to watch it. I have already read the manifesto, but we are going to read the manifesto again, and we're going to read it together. And that's, and you know, I've got some other screenshots here that we can look at specifically. You know, why don't we just do this right now? I'll show you these other screenshots I have. One of the reasons people think this guy is queer is because there is a moment in the video where you're seeing he wrote something on a magazine. I'm the woker baby, so why so queerious? Those are actually song lyrics, by the way, for people who didn't bother to chat GPT that. That's what that is. So I can understand, by the way, I can understand why people may jump to the conclusion that this person is queer just based on this, but you have to go beyond that. When you're analyzing situations, you have to go beyond. Like, the very worst thing you can do when you're trying to analyze something is to cherry pick one piece of evidence and then ignore all of the rest of it. Because it's like, okay, this one piece of evidence, if you take it out of context, it might look like it says one thing. But when you look at the entire breadth of the rest of the evidence, it's like, oh, this is actually a completely different thing. And I'm going to be honest, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, he's queer, like, obviously, duh. But then I actually sat down and I read it, and I was like looking at it, I'm like, this person's not fucking queer. And so, like, I understand, you really have to be a constant check on your own confirmation bias. Just because you see one thing that says the thing you think it's going to say doesn't mean you get to ignore the rest of the evidence. You have to do a nuanced analysis of this stuff. So another thing from the gun, I mean, seems a little on the nose, doesn't it? This person feels like God abandoned them. Why does this person whose mother worked for the Catholic Church, why does this person feel like God abandoned them? There might be new people here, so as a reminder, trans and queer are not the same thing. If you need an explanation for the difference in this case, you can go back to the beginning of the video. Trans and queer are not the same thing. You do not even have to be trans to be queer. You don't have to be gay to be queer. Queer is a political ideology. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're trans. There are a million trans people in the world that are not queer. There are a lot of trans women who are trans women because they have a sexual fetish. It has nothing to do with a political ideology. These are two different things. Now, the quartering is a fucking retard. Let's just be clear about this. You shouldn't be getting information about this from the quartering. The quartering doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about because Jeremy is a retard who has never actually looked at the real far left in his life. He pretends he does on the internet because he shows clickbait videos, but that is a terrible source of information. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. As evidenced by the fact that he obviously doesn't know the difference between trans and queer, which pretty much any person that's a regular in my chat can tell you the difference. Anyway, this is his mother getting some sort of commendation from the Catholic Church that they shot up. So she did work for the church. So I see a lot of people saying this guy was Jewish. Again, I don't think this guy was Jewish. I think this guy was Catholic. Or the family seemed to be Catholic anyway. We'll talk about that later. Okay, let's and then after we watch that, guys, I do have a follow-up to this. Why is the screen black? Oh, there she is. I don't know how much time this trans shooter thing is going to take, so we're going to do that. But there's a new Sophie video that I want to watch, and so if you've never seen Sophie Lewis, wow, Sophie Lewis, our Abolish the Family goddess, she is an actual queer Marxist, by the way. Sophie is 100% queer. And so we're doing some heavy content in the beginning of the stream. And then we're going to have our dear Sophie, my internet girlfriend, the original internet girlfriend. And we're going to have her at the end. And we're going to watch her new video that came out just last week. Yeah, Sophie the Lewis. And that we're going to do that after for dessert. But let's just jump right into it, guys. For people who are new to me, if you are unfamiliar with my work, I'm a journalist and an analyst that covers the radical revolutionary far left in America. I have been undercover and infiltrating far left environments for the past like 4+ years now. I study them every single day of my life. I've written multiple books about this. I'm working on 2 different books about queer Marxism right now. If you want to find my work, you can head over to my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn. .substack.com. You can find it there. You make sure you're subscribed, all that stuff. If you want to support the work I'm doing, researching all of this stuff so you guys don't have to, doing these breakdowns and all this stuff, make sure you sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year. I'm 100% completely funded by you, and I can't do this without you guys, so I appreciate the support. And make sure you're signed up over there. I did post a really short video that basically said in about a minute what we're going to talk about on this stream. Now, there's not much evidence. I've already gotten comments on this video. They're like, why didn't you present evidence in the video? I'm like, the video is 60 seconds long. That video is 60 seconds long. The video on my YouTube channel, the short, we're going to present the full evidence. But can you give me more than a minute to do it, for sake? Anyway, Guys, please make sure you have mounted the like button for me. Mounting the like button lets YouTube know to recommend my channel to more people, which I really do appreciate. Please double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you are not already, you have notifications turned on, all that good stuff. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch the final video that was posted by this Catholic Church shooter on their YouTube channel like hours before they went and shot up this church. Okay? And so I'm going to ask everyone in the chat too. Again, this is actually a tragedy. Can everyone in the chat please just be respectful? Like, I really don't want to see shit posting. I really don't want to see the owning. I don't want to see any of it. People died. Kids died. Parents lost their kids. Can we please keep it together and be respectful in the chat? I feel like the bar is so low. I understand, but you can shitpost everywhere else on the internet. I just don't want to see it. All right, I appreciate it. Okay, let's get started.
Here's my note to my family and shit. Wow, some English writing. Wow.
We're gonna read this whole thing, so just sit tight if you want to see what it says.
Hope you can read that.
Thanks, Murphy
Yeah.
Spool.
Peace, love, unity.
Yeah, I also want to say to Nick, thank you, Nick. I got it wrong. Saw the evidence you provided. I turned off Twitter after seeing how bad it was from both sides. Yeah, listen, no harm, no foul. I mean, it's just we have to be careful about this stuff, you know?
And guns. Baka, my brata. Baka. Mm. 9mm. Get fucked. This message brought to you by BlackRock and ExxonMobil. Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon. Brandon Herrera for president. Yeah, I met Brandon Herrera at SHOT Show last year. He and I had a brief conversation, but we agreed on a lot of things. So, y'all should vote for Brandon Herrera for president. And, Vintage Warfare promotes love and peace and accepting differences. Tomorrow.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate
I'm sorry
it.
to my family. But that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Fuck those kids.
Wow. Okay, so first off, so Brandon Herrera apparently is a YouTube guy, like that does like firearms content and stuff like that. Is that who he's talking about? We think probably. So Brandon Herrera ran as a Republican, for office. Ain't no queer. I promise you guys, there is not a single queer Marxist in existence that would ever say that a firearms channel YouTuber who ran as a Republican for office is a queer. They would never endorse that person. That would never happen. It would literally never happen. They would sooner like off themselves than ever endorse a firearms channel YouTuber that ran for office as a Republican. And also the saying that first of all, like, that's obviously disgusting, and whatever. I don't like. I feel like I have to denounce this when it's obviously something that people denounce, but it's just like, that's the fucking internet. If I don't explicitly say this is disgusting behavior, people will be like, Karlyn, you didn't even denounce that. Obviously, I denounce all of this. Okay. But we also do not hear queer Marxists say F those kids ever. If anything, queer Marxists believe that their ideas will be better overall for all people, including children. They would never, in a collectivist society, a collectivist mentality, they would never say fuck kids. That would never happen. It's going to rewind a little bit.
Tomorrow, I'm sorry to my family, but that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Fuck those kids.
Nope. No. Antifa and queer Marxists are anarcho-communists. There are many anarchists in the world that are not anarcho-communists. And again, we are being very specific about our language. So saying he's an anarchist and he must be Antifa like an unhinged fucking lunatic, which I've already asked you guys not to do. There are many anarchists in the world that are not anarcho-communists. There are many anarchists in the world that are not part of Antifa. In fact, there's a whole brand of right-wing anarchism that Antifa can't stand. So again, we're being nuanced here. We're not being raging lunatics to look for any reason to call this person a leftist. You know what? Let's go back and start the video again for people in the back. This person just endorsed a YouTube firearms channel person for office. There is no, again, I cannot believe I even have to say this. There is no fucking universe in which any queer Marxist or any member of Antifa is ever endorsing a right-wing Republican firearms YouTube channel host for office. They all anarcho-communists do is read. You are new here and have never read Queer Marxism with me. All anarcho-communists do is read and talk about reading and having book clubs and having educational events. They all own fucking bookstores, bro. There are radical revolutionary queer Marxist bookstores in every major city in this country. All they ever do is read, and they read a lot more than Das Kapital. They write entire fucking manifestos. Have you ever been on the Anarchist Library? Have you ever looked at half of the shit published in the Anarchist Library? Probably not. Have you ever bothered to research the topic that you're making assumptions about? Do you know how many mountains of zines and manifestos I have in my office that are printed out that are written by fucking queer Marxists because they're all passing them around to read in their fucking study groups? Do you have any idea? No? Shut the fuck up.
Here's my note to my family and shit. Wow, some English writing. Wow.
I'm having a brain spasm. Please remind me what queer Marxists think about trans and kids. Queer Marxists are in favor of anyone being trans if they want to be trans. I mean, modifying your body to queer Marxists is the highest symbol of affiliation with the political ideology, but most people who are trans are not queer Marxists. They're trans for different reasons. So yes, it is absolutely true that queer Marxists have no issue with kids being trans, but that's not to say that everyone who is trans is a queer Marxist or every single person that's promoting trans and kids or anything like that. So they're perfectly fine with it. Essentially, queer Marxists and Marxists in general believe that it's much like Scientology in that they believe that children are like little adults that can make all their own decisions and yada, 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 yada. Anyway, I need everyone to focus in and focus on the video.
Hope you can read that.
Hang on, we got another super chat from Rottweiler, which I appreciate. Hint, a lot of revolutionary communists are prolific authors, publishers, and academics. They're not ignorant, and the right underestimating them is what gives them power. Retards. Yeah, that's exactly right. The right constantly saying, they don't even know what they're fighting for. It gives them all, it gives the left all the power in the world. The right basically runs cover for the far left. It's totally disgusting on so many different levels. Anarchists don't believe there should be any laws for anything. So yeah, age of consent is actually a law. Guess what? Right-wing libertarians also don't believe there should be any law. This is what internet idiots take out of context because they don't understand what anarchism is. Anarchism is you believe there should be no government. If you believe there should be no government, you, by virtue of that, believe there should be no laws. So no, anarchists don't believe in a legal, law saying this is the age of consent. What they believe in is the community enforcing guidelines. The guidelines are enforced by the community in a different way that is separate from the government that we have right now. That is not to say that they're all having sex with kids. It is an argument about should the government be making laws, should the government even exist or not. If you don't think the government should exist, you don't think laws should exist, ergo, therefore, you don't think these laws should exist. It has nothing to do with wanting to do anything with kids. And people on the internet take this and twist it all the time to say, they're just all pedophiles, because all you idiots are obsessed with pedophilia, by the way. All of you guys are obsessed with fucking pedophilia. You guys are more obsessed with pedophilia than anyone I've ever seen in my fucking life. It's all pedophilia all the fucking time. That's why they argue against age of consent laws. It's an argument against the government. It is not an argument in favor of kids. Can we please watch the video now?
Yeah. Peace, love, unity, and guns.
Peace, love, unity, and guns.
Fuck
Also something a queer Marxist would never say, by the way.
Nine millimeter. Get fucked. This message brought to you by BlackRock and ExxonMobil. Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon. Brandon Herrera for president. Yeah, I met Brandon Herrera at SHOT Show last year. He and I had a brief conversation, but we agreed on a lot of things.
So this guy went to a gun event where he met a gun YouTuber and had a whole conversation in which they agreed with a lot of stuff. And P.S., that gun YouTuber ran as a Republican for office. There is no way in this universe this person is a leftist. There's no way. No way. This person is absolutely mentally ill. This person obviously has a lot of demons. There is no way in this universe this person is a Marxist.
So, y'all should vote for Brandon Herrera for president. And, Vintage Warfare promotes love and peace and accepting differences. Tomorrow, I'm sorry, to my family. But that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Fuck those kids.
That's so fucking gross.
Skibbity. Skibbity. Shit. I regret everything. I didn't ask for life. You didn't ask for death. I'll make my own fucking stars. Yeah. Watch my 9mm go bang.
Yeah, I'd say that I'd say that it's pretty clear that this person hated the church. That's a picture of Jesus on a target. I would say that it's pretty obviously clear that this person's beef is with the church. And so perhaps people should be asking, what happened in the church? No. His beef is with the church. He attacked a church. Christians are about to get their feelings all in a twist. He fired on a church because something happened in the church.
I'm the woker, baby. Why so curious?
There's no queer Marxist symbology in any of this.
Where's your fucking God now?
This person doesn't believe God exists, by the way. You think his beef is with God?
Shit.
Hang on, we'll go back a little bit more. You think his beef is with God? He doesn't think God exists.
Your fucking God now. Shit.
Oh, suck on this. That seems rather sexual, doesn't it?
Skibbity Riz.
Fuck everything that you stand for. This is a beef with the church. He thinks he's saving the children in some respects. Oh, kick it. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That seems very right-wing, actually.
The big boy.
Wait, did that say the N-word? Hang on. So he's got kick... I'm not going to say that word on YouTube. Oh, look at this. He's got the N-word on it. There is no universe in which a queer Marxist leftist is going to write the N-word on anything. And it doesn't matter that it's with the A and not the hard R. It doesn't matter. There is no distinction to the... There is no fucking universe in which this is a leftist.
The big boy. Fucking rip and tear. That's the big one. Don't forget to live laugh and love. Samantha.
Oh my god, he drew a smile. This is one fucked up motherfucker. Look at this. He drew a smiley face on the gun. This is mental illness. This is severe mental illness. I don't know who needs to hear this. This is severe mental illness.
And this one's for me, in case I need it. Right up in the fucking mouth. Some smoke, extra thick. Eat shit, motherfucker. Ah, koshmar.
Does that say nuke India? Another thing that no Marxist would ever say ever. That says nuke India. Like a phoenix, we rise from the ashes. These are okay. So I want to point something out. He's got an upside down cross. He's got. Hang on, I gotta go back. That's a pentagram. I don't know what that symbol is, but it's certainly not anything to do with the queer Marxist left. If he was a queer Marxist, he would be drawing upside down triangles, or he would be drawing an anarchist symbol, or an anarchist symbol with a triangle behind it. Like this, they graffiti that shit everywhere. If you look at any leftist protests and you look at the graffiti that goes up around leftist protests, you're going to see upside down triangles because that's the symbol of queer anarchism. It's the pink triangle turned upside down. You're also going to see anarchists with the A in the circle or sometimes with a pink triangle behind it. Like they graffiti this shit everywhere. So again, if he was a queer Marxist, that would be the graffiti we'd be seeing on the gun. Yeah, he's got satanic symbolism because he's giving the middle finger to the church. And I think we can all kind of make a best guess about why he might be giving the middle finger to the church. It says murderer on it. He knows exactly what he's doing. Nothing ever happens. This is more of a right-wing thing than it is a left-wing thing.
Vivimos en el sociedad.
Hang on. Look at this. Do you believe in God? This person does not believe in God.
Well, you're here. Fuck you. Oh, another one.
Waco.
Alright, where should we get motherfucking,
That looks like a Nazi symbol.
Breivik.
That looks like an Iron Cross. Well, I guess I don't know if that's a Nazi symbol or where that's from, but that is certainly a single. That my point is, that's not a symbol you see on the far left. That is a symbol you see on the far right. And again, I'm not arguing that the far right created this person either. That is not the argument that I'm making. I think mental illness created this situation that was brought on by childhood trauma that had something to do with the church. But again, like, I hate to just be beating a dead horse here, but I'm going to. There is no indication based on anything that I've seen so far that this had anything to do with leftist anything.
Motherfucking, Breivik. Genjin.
It looked close enough to an Iron Cross to me.
Fuck Nigel.
I don't know what that is.
That dude raped someone. Yeah, man.
Oh, wait a second. Oh my God. Wait a second. What does that gun say? Hang on a second. The gun says kill pedos. The gun literally says kill pedos. Trying to get a better image of it. There's pedos. Kill pedos. This kid was sexually abused when he was young. I promise you. I'm right again. What did I say? Be like, Karlyn, you're just making that up because you hate the church. Oh, yeah? This kid has got shit written all over the place about not believing in God. He attacked a Catholic church. He's got kill pedos written on his fucking gun. That's what he said? I don't think that's what he said, Yasmin. We'll rewind it, but I don't think that's what he said.
Fuck Nigel. That dude raped someone.
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. Please refrain from making shit up. That is not what he said. He said that dude raped someone. It didn't say he touched him. Those are two really different things. Kill pedos.
Yeah,
written on the gun.
Yeah. Got my new headphones so I can hear them scream. Nice.
Yep. Every time. This is why you need to look at the evidence. This is why everyone needs to look at the evidence before jumping to conclusions. Thank you for that.
Here's my belt.
6 million wasn't enough. That's obviously right wing. Okay, I'm not gonna read that.
Yeah. Stupid, worthless, useless bitch. That's fucking good shit, man. Plug. Oh yeah, check. I got my shirt. Skazoo.
No. We are not going to go down the crazy conspiracy train of the obviously mentally ill person is just doing an elaborate ruse to convince us that he's right wing when in fact he's really a libtard. We're not doing this. This is a mentally ill person leaving a video showing you exactly why they did what they did. They're not thinking, maybe I can confuse all of them and I'm really a liberal, but I'm going to write right-wing stuff on my guns and confuse all of them as my final act. Like, are you serious? I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Thank you. You must be new here. This is like every time something bad happens and it's obviously someone on the right doing it. Conservatives are all like, they're a secret leftist. It's like, no.
Better than the best. I got my Minnesota patch. In the fucking FS.
It also said nuke India. Do you honestly, you idiots honestly really believe this must be a leftist because they wrote kill Trump on the gun? Do you know how many people on the right dislike Trump? Do you have any idea how many people, no offense, I know you're new here, you know, whatever, but like, do you have any idea how many people on the right do not like Donald Trump? This person obviously doesn't like Israel. Donald Trump is completely cucked to Israel. Then you should know better than to whine in my chat and to make shit up. Yes, actually. Yes, because their writings are an indicator of their headspace. You idiots just want to make shit up. This is like, your philosophy is, I'm going to take one thing out of context, and then I'm going to build a whole story around that thing, and I'm going to ignore all the rest of the evidence, and I'm going to ignore any opinion that I don't like because I am too in my fucking feelings, and I want to be told what I want to hear, so you're just going to make shit up that adheres to your fucking feelings and what you want to hear. We are looking at the full set of evidence. You are creating bullshit based on the story that you want to be true. If you want to know what was in someone's head, you look at their fucking writings. You don't say, obviously, the writings on the gun were just a clever ploy to trick all of us as their final act. Are you fucking retarded? Are you smart enough to be on this channel? My God. Yes, oh, for fuck's sake, indeed. You'll have to buy the book I'm writing on it to find out, or refer to any of the Queer Marxism streams I've done on this channel. He must be making everything up. He was mentally ill. He can't possibly be on the right. He couldn't possibly have been molested by a priest. That goes against my entire narrative. My narrative is he's a leftist that hated the church and hated Christians and wanted to persecute Christians. He can't possibly just be a mentally ill person that was molested by a police. No, no, no. Make it not so. He must be a libtard so I can own the Democrats. That's you. Oh no, you just got banned from my channel. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, we've raised the IQ requirements. Boom her. It's 100 minimum IQ. 100 I'm an anti-capitalist. Are you fucking stupid? Do you even know where you are right now? Perhaps research something before you open your mouth.
Maybe I look like a cop, and I won't get rushed or something. I don't know.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, we actually speak like adults. We don't spam chats with all capital letters having a massive hissy fit. So you're going to cut that shit out. The next chat I see from you where you're spamming the chat with all capital letters, you're getting put in a timeout. The next time you do it after that, you're going to get banned. If you want to be treated like an adult, then fucking act like one.
Shit, let's fucking do this before things all kicks in. Yo. Oh. Oh yeah. Check this out. Got more Jew gas taped on this end. This will be for the emergency exit. pop it through the hand. Oh, there's Garfield. This is all too fucking real. Nigga.
Again, another N-word. Another N-word. There is no universe in which a queer Marxist or anyone on the left is going to say nigga. Whether it's with the A or the hard R, it doesn't matter. Do you guys see that? There is no way. There is no way.
Nigga. Yeah. Tomorrow.
Okay, bro. Okay. We tried to explain to you already that we're not fucking communists. You're obviously not smart enough to be here, and you keep just shitposting in the chat. So now you're going into timeout, and you can go sit in the back of the room and shut the fuck up.
Tomorrow. Love you.
Where's your God? Suck on this. Fuck everything you stand for. These are all. This is all targeted at the church.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel really good.
Well, that was disturbing. And you're now banned from my chat. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can't speak in proper English. Go away. My God. All right. I want to do a quick pause. What evidence in that entire video indicates that person was a leftist? Is there any evidence in the entire video that that person was a leftist? I'm looking at the chat right now. I know this is not the answer people want. I really do get it. But all the evidence from that video, and we're going to read the manifesto. All the evidence in that video, which I know is very hard to watch, but it's important that we understand these things. All the evidence in that video says that was a mentally ill person who had a beef with the church. And we can speculate about why that beef was with the church, but the fact, no making shit up to coddle your fucking feelings. Then what was the evidence? What was the evidence? Name it explicitly. What was the evidence? We don't just say, well, probably, maybe something could have been, but I don't know which evidence it was, but maybe, what was the evidence? Name it explicitly right now. Otherwise, you're making shit up. This person was a mentally ill person that had kill pedos written on their gun, so I think that we can say that something probably happened to him that shouldn't have, and he was targeting his vengeance at the church explicitly. He didn't think God existed. He had all sorts of right-wing language. You really think that, do you want me to point out to you about 150,000 people off the top of my head who criticize BlackRock and Exxon that are not on the left? Do you really think the left are the only people who criticize BlackRock and Exxon? The channel got taken down, but they downloaded the video. Yeah, conservatives coping bad. Coping bad. Coping bad. Maybe he thought that by killing the kids, he was saving them from the horrible fate that he saw. Yeah, I kind of think that that's probably the case, honestly. Which is really fucked up. But You have no evidence. So if you chat in again claiming something is true and you don't have evidence and you don't present any evidence, I'm putting you in a timeout so you can go to the back of the room and be quiet and listen to the adults. Because we deal in evidence here. We don't deal in your fucking feelings. We don't deal in pinky swear, trust me, bro. We deal in evidence, and you have not presented any evidence. So if you have some evidence to present, do it. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Let's read the manifesto, shall we? Let's read the manifesto. Because we do have the manifesto that he showed in the beginning of the video. I need to put on my glasses because I am old. Actually, my eyesight has always sucked. My eyesight has always sucked from the time I was a kid. Yep, he probably got diddled by the priest. And I want everyone to pay attention, and I want people to tell me, does this sound like a leftist or does this sound like a mentally ill person? Okay. Ugh, my eyes have to adjust wearing glasses. Ugh. To my friends and to my family and friends, I don't expect forgiveness. And I don't expect any apology. Hang on, this actually might be better for me to read without my glasses if I'm being honest about it. Can I make this bigger? No, I can't. Okay. I'm going to have to lean close, but it's actually better to read without my glasses. I don't expect forgiveness, and I don't expect any apology. I have to hold much weight, but to my family and those close to me, I do apologize for the effects my actions will have on your lives. Please know I care for all of you so much it pains me. To bring this storm of chaos into your life, this will affect so many more people than the ones who are immediately involved. To my mother and father, I'm sorry I didn't turn out the way you hoped. You did not fail me. You gave me so much. I truly appreciate the love you have given me. I feel I was raised to be a good person. I've kept these traits of empathy, self-sacrifice, and good character. Please do not think you have failed as parents. I was corrupted by this world and have learned to hate what life is. Life is love, life is pain. There is much to accept, too many things to put up with just to live. I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the pain this world gives out. Please move on and continue to give your love to my brothers and sisters and the rest of the world. They may not forgive you, but you need to move on from me. Forget my life and the pain I've brought. I love you both. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry. To my siblings, I am sorry for forever tainting the rest of your lives. Your careers, lives, relationships, all will be turned upside down. Please hold on to who you are, not who I am. Change your names if you must. I wish I could tell you that before I go. Please know I love you all and truly appreciate the time I have spent with you. I have such amazing family, and it hurts me to throw this wrench. The world, something, the works of you good people. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. I feel hope with you. I cherish our time together. I appreciate all that you have taught me, and I feel inspired to leave you when I grew up. Oh, I felt inspired to be like you when I grow up. I hope you are able to move on and continue your lives without being forever followed, forever haunted by my actions. Forget me and all that I am. Hold on to yourselves and your loved ones. I love you all. I just want to point out, this is not something, again, a queer Marxist would ever write to their family. Queer Marxists want to abolish the family. This is not something a queer Marxist would, like, literally ever write to their family, ever. And to my friends, I trust you all to give your memory of me however you see fit. I'm sorry for the confusion and heartbreak this will bring. I truly appreciate all of you. for showing me a good life and helping me through the darkest times. I have had so many good times that gave me hope. Unfortunately, this world has too much pain to dole out, and I can't cover up with the good side of life. I hope you all can move on and forget the pain I've caused. I have wanted this for so long. I am not well. I'm not right. I am a sad person haunted by those thoughts that do not go away. I know this is wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. I'm severely depressed and have been suicidal for years. Only recently have I lost all hope and decided to perform my final action against this world. I don't want to kneel down for the injustices of this world. I want to die. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees, constantly in pain. I think I'm dying of cancer. It's a tragic end, as it's entirely self-inflicted. I did this to myself as I cannot control myself, and I have been destroying my body through vaping and other means. I think I have lung cancer. I felt many pains that make me think I am past the point of recovery. I do not want to throw away my life by getting in a hospital bed. I don't want the rest of my life to be a cancer patient and out of hospitals, constantly being, I don't know what that word is, about people afraid to be happy around. Fuck that. I want to go out on my own means. Unfortunately, due to my depression, anger, and twisted mind, I want to fulfill a final act that has been in the back of my mind for years. He plotted this for years. You are all what kept me going. I find no more interest in anything material. I have only an interest in my mission and love for my family. If I didn't have such an amazing group of people around, I would have been gone much sooner. I just want to ensure to escape from this world, escaping from this constant bills, shitty jobs, shitty people, and injustice of America. I am done with this. I will not be here. I will be selfish and leave you to pick up the pieces. It's my fault. Blame me, but please move on. Whether you accept my apology or not, I hope you can all move past this and continue your lives. Remember to be good people. Now more than ever, the world needs more love, even if you don't get it in return. Please find hope, find love, and stand up to injustice. I love you all. I will remember you. Pray for the victims and their families. I love you, Heart, Mom, Dad, Jack, etc., all those people. P.S. T. Get over yourself and make up with Mom. She loves you. You need to grow up and accept the time just keeps on fucking moving. You either will stay in the past and rot, wasting your life and happiness away, or you can grow up and move on from things. We all love you. P.P.S. I wouldn't recommend any of you to read my journals unless you really want to, but be warned. Is there anything in this letter that screams leftist? We have read many queer manifestos on this channel. We have devoured content from the Anarchist Library. We have a whole book club about this stuff. Is there anything in this letter that screams leftist. No, there's not. I'm sorry. Could this person have been suffering from formicaria? I honestly don't know. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I don't know. There are some clinical psychologists in the chat, so maybe they have an idea about it. I would welcome the clinical psychologist to answer, but I don't know. I think that this is a really sad situation. It's sad on a number of levels. And I think ultimately it's pretty clear to me that this person was mentally ill. This person obviously experienced some severe trauma in their life at some point. I think the most obvious trauma that this person probably experienced was sexual abuse when they were younger. And I think the most obvious place that happened was in the building that they shot up. I could be wrong about that last part, obviously, but that's what my gut tells me, and that's what all the evidence tells me. But I do not think this was some sort of thing where this person was... I think this person hated the church. I think this person thinks God doesn't exist or God abandoned them. I think this person obviously did not believe that, their beef was obviously with the church. I don't think it's because they hated Christians necessarily. I think it's because of what happened to them. And I think that, it is what it is, I guess. And it's sad. And I think that, it's obvious they were trans, but I think that the reason they were trans is probably a manifestation of their overall mental illness, that they never got treated, and it's sad. It's sad. Well, he may have thought he was liberating the kids. He may have thought he was saving the kids. Because if something happened to him in that church when he was younger, then he may have thought he was saving the kids from the same fate. I am not saying that's my position. Obviously, that's abhorrent. But this is a mentally ill person that was obviously had a vendetta against that church. No. There is no universe. There is no universe that this person was Antifa. No universe. And everyone should stop. If you guys are seeing influencers saying this person was Antifa, you need to stop listening to those people forever, because I'm sorry. I'm going to be so pissed off if Andy No is saying this person was Antifa, because it's like, if you just look at the evidence, anyone that studies Antifa, and I actually study Antifa, I read all of Antifa's writings. I track them in real time. I'm on all their websites. I'm following them all around Blue Sky. I go undercover at their events. If this person was Antifa, I would be the very first person screaming it. Any person who is saying this is Antifa has not looked at the evidence or does not understand what Antifa is. And either way, you should stop fucking listening to them, because they lied to you pretty severely. This person was on the right. This person was politically on the right. Yeah, I saw him say he was raised by a liberal family, but I don't even think that's true. The mother was Catholic. She worked in the church. I've seen information that said the mother was a conservative. So even Andy No is not reporting accurate information. It's like, if he had been abused, then the priest who heard him was a current pastor. That could have been his internal justification to save the kids. That's very, very true. Clearly not Antifa. Clearly not. So that's that. I do want to say this, though. There were a couple people... Where did I see them? Oh, shit. Did I get rid of it? Hang on. There were a couple people on Twitter who were sadly, oh, hang on. I just opened something I shouldn't have. Hang on. There were a couple accounts on Twitter who were trying to say that this person was committing an act of anti-Semitism. And I just want to say, yet another example of the Jews in Israel needing everything to be about them. Yet another fucking example. And this is another example of like the bad behavior that I've like, by the way, I fucking hate that I have to be like the responsible mother of the internet. I don't have kids for a reason. I don't want to be mothering the fucking internet. I want to be saying, you know, you guys got to be responsible. You guys actually have to look at shit. And why are you saying things that aren't real? And why are you just like, do you think I like doing this? I don't have children for a reason. But using this as a moment to attack people who are not supporting Israel is fuck off ridiculous. Because we just watched the video. The person said nuke India on one of their guns as well. The person said F Donald Trump. He also said kill pedos. Like, but these assholes are honestly saying that this was all about Israel. It was just all about Israel. It was all about Israel. It's the Jew haters. It's the Jew haters. Can we pass more laws against anti-Semitism? It's the Jew haters. Disgusting. Disgusting. Disgusting behavior. And it's just like, can we just please stop interacting with these people? Can we please just stop reply guying to them? They're saying this stuff on Twitter because they want you to reply to them, because this is how they make money. This midwit moron asshole should have no platform at all. He is a low IQ retard that only does pro-Israel outrage porn. And it's like, can we just reach a point, please, where we're starting to ignore these people and just sending them on their merry way and saying, you know what, you lied to us, you've propagandized to us. Do you think we're not actually capable of looking for the evidence and deciding for ourselves what we think about it? It's like you're now utilizing a shooting of a church where kids died to score points for Israel, because God knows killing young Catholic kids is a form of anti-Semitism, according to this idiot. So stupid. Completely brainwashed the internet. With mimetic warfare. Yeah, the internet is completely fucking stupid at this point. It's so absurd. So guys, to be honest, that's really all I have to say about this. I don't have any more to say about it. I think it's very clear what happened. We've covered the video. We read the entire manifesto. And I would encourage you, if you are seeing people that are lying to you about this, or saying that this was a leftist, or saying this was Antifa, or saying this was any of these things, or they just did it because they hated Christians. I don't think they hated Christians. I think they hated the church because of something that happened to them in the church. And I know that might get people's feelings in a bunch. I really do. I'm not trying to piss off the Catholics, but Catholics, you know your demons. Catholics know they have demons. Okay? It's no secret that many people have been molested in the Catholic Church. It is no secret that the Catholic Church has a history of covering this shit up. And so I'm not saying that all priests are bad. I'm not saying that all Catholic churches are bad. I'm not saying that all Catholics are bad. I'm not saying that any of that. I'm saying that I think something happened to this kid in a Catholic church, which is the reason why he shot up the church, to liberate the kids from the same fate that he suffered. That's all I have to say about it. Let's move on. Now, for people who want to actually learn what queer Marxism is, Do you guys want to watch an actual queer Marxist talk? Do you guys want to hear what an actual queer Marxist believes? And I know this is, yeah, exactly. This is about mental illness, not politics. I completely agree. Okay, from now on, I'm just going to be banning people who put retarded shit like this in my chat. I'm literally just going to be banning you. You are a fucking retard. You're not smart enough to be here. Go away. Banned. All right. We're going to move on. If anyone wants to stay and watch a video of an actual queer Marxist, let me introduce you to Sophie. Sophie is my internet girlfriend. Sophie is my longest term internet relationship. I have watched more Sophie content than anyone else on the internet. No, he didn't. Well, I mean, maybe he did somewhere in a journal, but like, not in anything that we saw. I'm sorry. This is fucking absurd. There's literally nothing that we saw anywhere that had any fucking progress trans flag. I've heard this from other people. I think this is, again, made up bullshit or someone photoshopped something or like, send me the fucking receipt. Because we watched the whole video. Okay, send me the receipt. Send me the receipt. Because I think some fucking conservative asshole photoshopped something, which is something they do all the time. Literally every single time a conservative comes out with an ad from Craigslist saying, look guys, they're hiring paid protesters for $50 an hour. It's photoshopped every single time. It's fake every single time. We watched the entire video. There was no fucking flag. Most of it was right wing. Send me receipts. Send me evidence. Otherwise, we're moving on. There was no fucking flag in anything. Oh my god. Everyone in my chat is stupid. There was no fucking flag in anything that we watched. Did you see a flag? Are we making up that there's a flag now? Because it makes a good story? Okay. Got it. Moving on. Haymarket Books, which is a socialist book publisher, released this video of Sophie Lewis. I like kind of don't even want to watch this now. I'm like, is the chat smart enough to handle this content right now? Are you guys, is the chat smart enough? Do you guys have it together enough to handle another piece of content? Do we need to save this for another day where people are not behaving in a retarded manner? Let me know in the chat. We're not going to the land of retardia today, folks. Okay. Haymarket Books is the largest socialist book publisher in the United States. They recently published a book with our fair Sophie, or my fair Sophie, because my Sophie is an internet is my internet girlfriend. She's been my internet girlfriend for years. And she doesn't like that, but that's okay because that's okay. And Sophie has recently written a book called Enemy Feminisms. Sophie has written several books about abolishing the nuclear family. Sophie has done many talks about abolishing the nuclear family at colleges all over the country. Sophie is a queer Marxist, self-professed. Sophie is an intellectual. She has worked at colleges and universities. She most recently worked at the University of Pennsylvania. And so this is an interview that Haymarket Books released with our fair Sophie about her newest book, Enemy Feminisms. The basic premise of Sophie's book is that not all feminists are created equal, and the only real feminists are anti-capitalist feminists, because Sophie is a queer Marxist, so you can't be a real feminist unless you're also an anti-capitalist queer Marxist, and that everyone else who claims to be a feminist is an enemy feminist because they're not anti-capitalist, and therefore, ergo, they are Sophie's enemy because they're not real feminists. That is the basic premise of the book. Actually, do I have the book here? As a reminder, a member of my community was very nice to get me a signed copy of Sophie's book at a Sophie book signing. She even signed it to me. She didn't know she was signing it to me at the time. But this is one of my prized possessions, is the signed copy of Enemy Feminisms that one of my intrepid community member got me by going to an in-person Sophie book reading a couple months ago. Yeah, I love it too. So let's listen to what Sophie had to say in this interview, and we can talk about it. And you guys can listen to a real queer Marxist, and you guys can let me know if it has any resemblance to what we just watched.
Words we have for, quote unquote problematic feminisms or insufficient feminisms, corporate feminism, neoliberal feminism, lean-in feminism, governance feminism, you name it. There are actually too many to count. We're not necessarily always being heard in all conversations as a form of coherent ideology and practice that is not simply a variation on a theme with some sort of problems that we could fix by adding more intersectionality or expanding the tent.
All right, fuck Andy No. Honestly, Andy No a couple hours ago posted, "Today's killing of Christian children at a church in Minneapolis occurred in the context of a surge of far-left trans propaganda encouraging Trantifa and other leftists to take up arms to kill transphobes and fascists." Fuck Andy No. And I say that with all due respect, because Andy's always been very nice to me, but Andy is lying to his fucking audience for clicks, obviously having not looked at the evidence. That's mind-boggling to me. That is so disappointing. That is so disappointing. Like, are you kidding me? Let's pull up his Twitter right now. I cannot believe this. Every single person on the internet sucks. Every single one. They are all clickbait con artists every fucking time. Hang on. I'm a Catholic, and after years of researching our family here, the shooter sounded nothing like anything along queer Marxists ever. Yeah, enough said. Show us evidence. Otherwise, yeah, exactly. The person did not sound like any queer Marxist we've ever looked at. Unbelievable. Unbelievable conservatives every time. Every time. Minneapolis trans shooter came from a very liberal family. Well, that may not be the case, Andy, actually. Here it is. Today's killing of Christian children at a church in Minneapolis occurred in the context surge in far-left trans propaganda encouraging Trantifa. By the way, for people who don't know, Andy No made up the word Trantifa. The proper terminology is bashback or queer Marxism. Andy made this up to basically bolster his brand. And other leftists take up arms to kill transphobes. Their targets Christians and conservatives. Blatant fuck-off lie. Blatant lie. Blatant lie. Andy is specifically referencing here, and do you know how I know that Andy knows the term bashback? Because it literally says bashback in one of the things that he's referencing. By the way, if this person was a queer Marxist, they would have looked like this person. This person is a bashback, violent, queer militant. The thing literally says bashback. Bashback is the name of the violent, queer, militant group that does all this stuff. There's overlap with Antifa, but they're not the same thing. Has he even bothered to look at the evidence? Did he even bother to look at the video? Listen, man, people make mistakes, and I really do hope that maybe this is just a misstep on Andy's part, and I really do hope that eventually he looks at the video and realizes that this person is suffering from mental illness. This has fuck off nothing to do with bashback or queer Marxism or anything. But no, never miss a chance to get a story that isn't real, but lying to our audience with propaganda to rile them all up, to get them pissed off. The person is absolutely transgender. 100% transgender. But again, that could be autogynephilia. So Andy is lying to his audience. That's just great. That's just great. There is absolutely no hope. Oh, Kyle Cero, Andy is the source of this info. Andy is the #1 person to follow for this information, guys. He knows all the full context, except Andy isn't telling his audience the full fucking context. There was literally fucking paperwork where they changed his name because he was trans. If I say he was trans, what I mean is he was actually confirmed trans. Do you need me to provide you with those receipts too? Have you not learned yet in the amount of time that you've been on my channel that when I say something is true, there's a reason that I'm saying that it's true. I'm not just making shit up. I'm not just pulling it out of nowhere. There is a reason that I'm saying that it is true. God damn, maybe we just shouldn't watch the Sophie thing today. You know what? We're not going to do the Sophie thing today. I'm pissed off. I don't want to, I'm so pissed off that Andy Ngo is lying to people. Sophie thing cancel. We will do Sophie another day. Sorry. I actually want to enjoy my time watching Sophie, but this is ridiculous. Almost 1 million views this tweet has. This is the most relevant post today. Andy Ngo sure knows what he's talking about. Do you want to know why the conservative right constantly and perpetually loses to the far left? Because when they spread lies about the left, they are running cover for real communists and real socialists. This is so disappointing. This is so. Do you guys? Oh man, I'm about to lose my shit. This is so disappointing that he's doing this. One of the few people, you know what? Oh, bro, shut the fuck. No one is. We're winning. We're winning. Woke is dead. We're winning. We're winning, guys. Cracker, guys, did you know that Cracker Barrel is changing the logo back to the old man? Woke is dead, guys. We won. The left lost. We're winning. We're winning. Pinky swear. Trust me, bro. Are you a fucking retard? Are you smart enough to be here? Guys, Cracker Barrel is keeping their logo. Do you know that we just won the most massive victory in the history of the culture war, guys? It is all about Cracker Barrel all the time. Oh, you're so fucking stupid. You think that Marxists and Democrats are the same thing. Oh, wow. See, guys, this is the result of conservative propaganda, where conservatives are so confused that they think that Democrats and communists are the same. They think that Antifa and Democrats are the same. They think the biggest victory that they've ever had is Cracker Barrel reverting to their old logo. They think that DEI is completely out of schools. They think that Trump is saving them from everything. How fucking embarrassing. You should be embarrassed. You're not smart enough to be here. Go away. Yeah, I'm totally getting paid right now, bro. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you how much money you get paid when you correctly say no, idiots. Democrats and communists are not the same thing. We are being invaded by Retardia. It's true. It's over. No, we're not doing Sophie. I made an executive decision. I can't do it. I'm too pissed off. I'm too pissed off about this. No. No. The left doesn't give a flying fuck about Cracker Barrel. They don't care. Do you really think leftists were eating at Cracker Barrel? The left hasn't even talked about the Cracker Barrel bullshit. They don't give a fuck. By the way, there's the evidence that this person is definitely trans. Oh, I'm so pissed right now. I'm so pissed. This is all guys, this isn't because this guy was molested by a priest. It's all transgender ideology, except that the person wasn't on testosterone. You guys know that, right? That if this person, listen, and again, I'm the very first person to call this shit out on the internet when I think it's real. If transgender ideology was responsible for this shooting, then the person would have been on testosterone, not estrogen. This person was probably blocking testosterone and dosing estrogen. If you wanted to make a trans shooter, they are on testosterone. Every time they're on testosterone. Guys, I really think this is a great opportunity to own libs and transgender ideology again and not have a broader conversation about mental health in this country and about the fact that this person was obviously on the right wing and obviously molested by their Catholic priest. Can we just have another conversation about transgender ideology even though this person wasn't on testosterone? Testosterone is the hormone that makes you aggressive. Estrogen doesn't have the same effect as testosterone. They are two different hormones. This was a trans woman, which means a man that was transitioning to be a woman. Ergo, they are on estrogen and they are blocking testosterone. The trans mass shooters that have obviously and clearly medicated have been on testosterone, which is what makes you more aggressive. Well, they sure as shit weren't taking testosterone. They sure as shit weren't taking testosterone, I can tell you that. Oh yeah, that's right, it's my husband's birthday. Hey, guess what? You just got banned. Goodbye. Goodbye. She is so emotional. Yeah, I get angry when conservatives do batshit stupid things and want their fucking feelings coddled. You want emotion? You want emotion? Go to your average conservative and listen to them cry anytime that you tell them something they don't want to hear. There's no fucking evidence of that. What I think he hated the church because he wanted to be trans and the church said no. Yeah? Then why did he have kill pedos written on his gun? Why did he have save children written on his gun? Why was he obviously denouncing God and saying God didn't exist? Are you capable of looking at any evidence that doesn't fit your fucking I just think that he hated the church and because he wanted to be trans and they didn't want him to be. Could it be something else, do you think? Could there maybe be another reason why he's hating the church? I'm just going to berate retarded people in my chat for the rest of the stream. That's what we're doing now. I'm going to yell at people and berate them and make them feel fucking stupid. Every time you say something stupid in my chat, we can have a conversation about how stupid you are. But nothing will be ever as stupid as Andy No insinuating that guy was a leftist when he obviously was not. Andy No, king retard of the day. All these Andy No just knows what's going on. Andy No hasn't even looked at the fucking evidence. I promise you. Andy No hasn't even looked at the fucking evidence. He hasn't actually read that manifesto. He hasn't compared it with what actual leftists say and do and how they write and how they go about things. Like, my God. No. No. I don't need your made-up Jewish fairy tale. Who the fuck are you? Who the who the fuck do you think you are? She needs Jesus! Jesus will save her! My made-up Jewish fairy tale will save her tonight! I'm gonna bend my knee and worship at the King of the Jews! The Jews will love me! The Jews will take care of me because I am the Shabbos goy that shows up to do all their bidding because they're God's chosen people. I love the Jews so much that I bend my knee and pray to the Master and King of the Jews! please. Please. Yeah, OnlyFans has entered the chat. The retarded OnlyFans whore has entered the chat and is proclaiming Jesus because that's how she's going to make money in her next grift on the internet. Once the porn dollars dry up, she's going to claim to find God, and all the conservatives can be like, wow, you're a porn star that found God? And then they're going to give her all her money, and she's got a new porn career now, doesn't she? She's getting paid to be a good Christian and say all those good Christian things and say, Jesus loves me and he saved me from this world of OnlyFans. Love how conservatives claim he is is trans means he's left wing, yet they yes. This is the other thing. Do you guys think there are no trans conservatives? I'm sorry. I live in a world where conservatives love trans people. Conservatives lift up trans people all the time, and they say these are our trans conservatives. We love trans people on the conservative right. You think the conservatives don't have trans people too? But they're all leftists? Okay. How many leftist trans people do you know say the word nigga? Can we just go back? Let's go back to the video. Where's the video? How many? Let's find that N-word. Let's find it. We can find that N-word in the... Oh, Ted Kaczynski too? Oh, yeah, I know a lot of leftists who are quoting Mr. Ted Kaczynski. I saw Ted Kaczynski on that gun. I know a lot of leftists who are damning Mr. Ted or venerating Ted Kaczynski. I'll tell you that. They just love Ted Kaczynski on the left. Don't we read all the time, y'all? Don't we read all the time about how queer Marxists just love Mr. Ted Kaczynski? Like, are you fucking shitting me? Are you guys dumb? Okay, OnlyFans. Okay, you're too dumb to be here. I'm sorry. Go back to being a whore on the internet. Bye, band. Bye, OnlyFans. Let's find that image of the N-word on the gun. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that all the conservative shills on Twitter are not showing that this guy had the N-word not once but twice in this video? Oh, there it is. Oh, and that was the second instance of the N-word on his gun. Why do you think? Why does everyone think that Andy Ngo, who damn well should fucking know better? Why does anyone think that Andy Ngo hasn't pointed out that there are two instances in that video of the N-word with the A? Why? Yeah, we ban OnlyFans whores here. No OnlyFans whores allowed. Definitely a leftist, guys. Definitely a leftist. I know it's upside down. I know that might be too hard for conservative influencers to just, like, turn the photo right side up. He is obviously a Trantifa leftist, y'all, with nigga written on a 2x4. Trantifa leftists, according to Andy Ngo, always use the N-word with the A. I don't know why I'm being Southern right now. It just feels appropriate. It feels appropriate because you know what? Southerners, no offense, sometimes the most simple people in the world come from the South. There is no universe in which any leftist ever would say or write the word nigga. I'm using my white slave voice from the antebellum South. Slave owner voice, not white slave, obviously. White people weren't slaves in the antebellum South. They were the owners. I spilled water down my shirt. I just spilled water down my shirt, y'all. Good thing I'm wearing black. You can't see nothing. Yeah, there was Ted. Do you guys want to watch the video again? Let's just watch the video again. Let's just do the video again. We can pause at all the very deeply conservative or left-wing things in this video. Like when Ted Kaczynski is mentioned on the gun. Like multiple mentions of the word nigga. This video was a deeply leftist thing, and I think we should be able to point all that out. Let's point out all the instances of Antifa leftism, y'all.
Swing. Here's my note to my family and shit. Wow, some English writing. Wow. Hope you can read that. Yeah.
Hang on, we got a super chat. Karlyn, why do you think it is that the right flat out will not listen to the facts you're trying to show them? I don't get it. Because the only thing that the right cares about is crafting a narrative. Every right-wing influencer that's elevated. Every right-wing media personality that's elevated. Their only job is to craft a narrative. This is why we don't pay attention to what they say, because it's all bullshit. I'm not saying they never report anything real. Occasionally they do, but even when they're reporting something real, they take it out of context and they refuse to tell people the full story. This is why we always go directly to the primary source. We only look at primary sources. And conservatives don't want to do that. And a lot of times they will receive backlash from their audience, massive backlash from their audience, if they don't tell their audience the very specific talking points that the audience is desperate to hear. So the audience gets all upset. They're like, how dare you tell me information I don't want to hear? I'm canceling you. I'm not watching your show ever again. I'm blocking you and unfollowing you on Twitter, and I'm not going to retweet your content, and fuck you for telling me something you don't want to hear. This has happened to me so many times, I cannot even tell you. I could just be showing a piece of primary source evidence saying, here is what this actually says. Fuck you, I don't want to follow you anymore. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of whining conservatives I've had in my replies over the years. So, that's the best answer I have. They're crafting a narrative because it financially benefits them to do so. They will always adhere to their narrative. They will only tell their audience the things they want to hear. By the way, we haven't even talked today about, and I was going to cover this, but we're going to wait for tomorrow, I think. Did you guys hear that Trump is going to bring RICO charges against the Soros family for funding the riots? Did you guys hear this? Trump made a post today on Truth Social where he's like, we are going to get those bastard Soros for funding the violent riots. We're going to bring RICO charges against the Soros. Okay, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with that? For people who watch my content, what is the problem with Trump saying, we're going to get those Soros and their funding of the violent riots? What is the problem with that? Can someone in my chat please explain to me what the problem is? We're starting to get closer. That's not how Antifa's funded. Antifa has never been funded by Soros. Antifa has never been funded by USAID. Anyone who thinks that Antifa is funded by any of these things is wrong. The reason they think that Antifa is funded by these things is because influencers keep lying to them and saying that. Antifa is funded exclusively by mutual aid. That's it. They don't take money. They actually look down on people who do take money. They look down on the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They call them the paid protesters. Antifa is 1,000% not funded by Soros, nothing. And so Trump going around saying, we're going to get those violent rioters. All he's doing is telling his audience what his audience wants to hear, even though it has no basis in reality at all in any way. Good luck, Trump. Good luck bringing RICO charges against mutual aid organizations that have nothing to do with Soros. Good luck. Once you watch this channel, then you watch other YouTube channels, you realize that people are just absolute morons, bro. I never realized. Listen, I always knew. I'm not watching a YouTube video. I'm sorry. You can send me a screenshot of it. I'm not pulling up a YouTube video. No. 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 Nope. No. Not what we're talking about. At all. You are talking about progressives and liberals, and that has fuck off nothing to do with Antifa. And the reason that you're confused and you think that Antifa is the same as progressives and liberals is because you are listening to people who lie to you, and you should stop doing that. Antifa hates Soros. They want nothing to do with them. What was I just going to say? Oh, going back to average person super chat. Listen, man, I always knew that I was like smarter than a lot of people. I really, but I was never like I thought there were so many people who were smarter than me. And once I started being on the internet and I started being on YouTube and I started being on Twitter and I started interacting with people in this way, I never realized how many stupid people there are in the world, and I never realized how much credit I gave people for being smart when in fact those people were stupid. And it has been the most eye-opening experience of my life to interact with so many people on the internet who think they're experts in everything, but in fact they know nothing. They know Karlyn, you're not telling me what I want to hear, and you are becoming arrogant and shrill. Have you ever been on this channel before? Let's just do a little test. How many people in the chat think that this person has ever commented on my channel at all? Let's just see. How many people in the chat think that this person has ever been on my channel at all? Karlyn, I used to be a big fan of yours, and I've supported your work for years, and I've recommended so many people get access your work, but you are just becoming too arrogant and shrill, and you need to calm down. Has this person ever been in my chat before? Do you think? Guess what? This is this person's first ever chat in the channel. That's the behavior of conservative retards. No. I am pretty sure I said like 10 minutes ago that I'm going to spend the rest of the stream yelling at and debasing retards in my chat. No one on my channel has ever seen that person in the chat before. So, bro, you need to go into timeout. You seem like you're just a conservative retard that means well, but like you don't know what you're talking about. Go away. You don't ever fucking tell me to calm down. Timeout for you. You just got permanently banned for pretending that you had anything to ever do with my content before today, because this is the first time you've ever chatted on my channel. Goodbye. Does anyone else have anything to say? Bro, the struggle is real. But you know what? We've learned how to identify them over the years. Yeah, I went through the same thing. So did many people on the channel. It is very humbling to understand how much you've been lied to by the media that you follow. But it's also like, once you see the narrative crafted in real time, like you guys just saw, right? You guys just saw. Andy No is crafting a narrative. Then send me some. Bro, I'm making a fucking point here. If you want my attention, you can send in a super chat. Okay? You spam my chat with emojis, that's going to be a great way to get banned. You're seeing Andy Ngo craft a narrative in real time. You know based on looking at the evidence that the narrative that Andy is crafting about this is not real. Not real at all. And so once you start seeing the narrative crafted in real time, and once you start understanding how this happens, you start seeing it everywhere. And then you start to realize, oh shit, I was lied to by everyone I ever thought I could trust. Because the only people who are ever elevated, okay, bro, you just got banned. You didn't follow instructions, go away. The guy was spamming my chat, not you. It is humbling to, like, listen, man. I love some of Andy Ngo's work. I genuinely have a lot of admiration for Andy Ngo. It makes me actually upset. Like, I'm actually upset to watch him craft a narrative around this situation that is not real, because there are so few people that I've thought were good sources of information over the years. He's always someone that I looked at as a pretty good source of information. I think his book on Antifa is very good. But this isn't real. This is not real. He's saying this to get paid on the internet. This isn't real. He may not have even bothered to look at the evidence. He may not give a fuck what the evidence says. I can tell you that I have personally tried to give Andy Ngo evidence about Bashback on multiple occasions, and he has ignored it every single time. It's not as though Andy has not had access to this information. I promise you he has. On many occasions. And he won't look at it, and he won't use it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I have a lot of respect for him, man. He put himself in harm's way. He got actually physically hurt by Antifa. I will never take that away from him. He's done a lot of good work. We're watching him lie to us in real time. So either something happened, maybe it's a fluke, maybe we can give him the benefit of the doubt if he keeps coming back. Now we always have to be cautious around every single thing that Andy Ngo says from now on, because it's like, okay, well, you remember that time when you blatantly lied to us, when the evidence completely contradicted the narrative that you crafted, and we watched you do it in real time, and it fucking sucks. Do you know how many people I have trusted? I've been in this space over 5 years. That's a long time to do something like this. I've seen a lot of people come and go in this space. Do you know how many people who I've trusted that let me down and that disappointed me and that turned out not to be above board? Yeah, well, just because he bled a couple years ago doesn't mean that something hasn't changed now. Just because and again, I have massive respect for the fact that he put himself in harm's way. He got physically hurt. I will never take that away from him. He did something that no one else wanted to do, and he has my respect for that. But just because he bled several years ago does not mean he is telling the truth today. He is blatantly not telling the truth today. We just looked at the evidence. The truth is completely contradictory to what Andy Ngo is saying. What did I do? I've gotten chased down the fucking street. I got attacked by fucking people. What did I do? Are you fucking... Do you think that Andy Ngo is the only person in the world that's ever gotten attacked? Chat, does anyone remember a time where I got attacked by a Black Lives Matter riot? Does anyone remember a time when I've put myself in the position of actually getting physically hurt because I've gone undercover at multiple socialist events to record them? Does anyone remember a time when I got possessed by a literal fucking demon at a leftist event? Does anyone remember anything bad that's ever happened to me covering the left? What did I do? Go fuck yourself. I have multiple times put myself in harm's way without having the big paycheck backers that Andy No has. I've done it by myself. I spent 4 days in a room with fucking Antifa in Chicago a couple years ago and could have gotten my ass kicked the entire fucking time I was there. In a couple weeks, no. You're new here. Your job is to shut the fuck up and learn. You do not tell me what's what. How many leftist events have you gone to? How many leftist events have you gone to? In a couple weeks, I'm going to be putting myself in danger again. You guys don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be around some really fucking far left anarchists for a couple days. Shut the fuck up and learn and ask questions, and don't ever make any assumptions about what hasn't had. Okay. Edward, I'm very sorry, Edward. It's me. It's not you. You're not smart enough to be here. Go away. You're permanently banned from my chat. There are literal videos on the internet of me getting chased by a Black Lives Matter mob. And still, conservatives don't look at evidence. And so here we are. Who sent all the controls? It's conservatives having feelings because they're being told something they don't want to hear. This happens literally all the time. This is why we ban so many people in the chat. What was I saying? What was I saying? Almost every person... I got thrown into the conservative media sphere in... I got thrown into the conservative media sphere in 2020. And in that time, I was on all the big shows. I was on Glenn Beck's show multiple times. I was on Dave Rubin's show multiple times. I was on Fox News multiple times. I was touring around the country during the 2020 election with the walkaway campaign about being a Democrat that left the left, all that stuff. I did a fucking PragerU video, which was the biggest mistake I've ever made, but I didn't know anything about this space because I never wanted to be in politics. I never wanted to be on the internet. That wasn't part of my life plan. It just kind of happened, and yes, this stuff can just happen. I say all this because there were a lot of people in 2020 that I trusted, that I thought that Glenn Beck had, like, I thought he had integrity. Because I was dumb, okay? I was dumb, I was naive, I had no experience in this space. I came from a world where, I came from the coaching world. I was an executive coach and a performance coach and a mindfulness coach before all this. I know me yelling on the internet contradicts the fact that I was a mindfulness coach, but I actually do know my shit. I just choose not to practice it sometimes, and sometimes when you're yelling, that can actually be a mindful act as well. Yeah, I got kicked out of a hotel room in the middle of the fucking night while I was like woke me up while I was sleeping to kick me out of the hotel room. Yeah. I thought Dave Rubin actually believed the things he said he did, and I talked to Dave Rubin in private. It wasn't like it wasn't as though that I was just on Dave Rubin's show. I had entire conversations with Dave Rubin in private. I honestly thought that he believed what he said he did, and now I know that Dave Rubin is just a lying grifter. But again, at the time, I was new to this space. I didn't know what any of it was. I came from an industry and a profession where mostly people were above board. And that's actually true in the coaching community. Like, when you're in the coaching community, a lot of people help each other out. They support each other. There are all these mastermind groups that you can be in where you help and support each other. And then, like, once you, like, if like everyone's doing well, that's actually a good thing. There's not competition. It's actually like a very kind of like it's kind of like a nice place to be in that, you know, you can give people oftentimes the benefit of the doubt. That's not to say people don't screw you over. They do. But the amount of backstabbing that I experienced in the coaching community, oh my God, it did not, like, I shouldn't say the amount, the lack of backstabbing that I experienced when I was a professional coach, that lack of backstabbing did not prepare me well for the conservative media sphere. Because when I came into this sphere, and I was learning all sorts of new things, you guys got to understand, I was a Democrat for a long ass time. I was a Democrat for a long time. I really didn't venture outside of my political bubble until like mid 2019. And by the beginning of 2020, I had written an essay on the internet about kind of like realizing that Donald Trump wasn't what people said he was, blah, blah, blah. The typical kind of fucking leaving the left story. I got thrust into the conservative media sphere just months after I started waking up. It wasn't like people think I went to a Trump rally and it instantly changed my mind. That's not what happened. But it wasn't as though I spent years kind of like assessing. I was a Democrat, and then I started waking up, and a couple months later, I was on Fox fucking News. So I hadn't... Bro, shut the fuck up. It's time to end the transgender. Shut the fuck up. Actually, let me get Andy No off my screen, because that's going to piss me off. Let me do this. I'm going to talk for a minute. So I came into this conservative media space, and I defaulted to what I had been doing in the coaching world, which is you give people the benefit of the doubt. And I had a lot of people around me, because my profile got like so big in that space so quickly. I had a lot of people around me saying, Karlyn, have you looked at this? 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 And I was just trying to take in as much information as I could and learn as much as I could. What I didn't realize at the time was that they were feeding me exactly the narrative that they wanted me to be saying when I was going on Fox News and I was going on Glenn Beck. I was going on all these radio shows. I was doing all this stuff, and they were feeding me exactly the things that they wanted me to say and the perspective that they wanted me to have. But I was still so new to it, and I didn't have the full context of everything. So I was kind of like, I was having to learn a lot of information on the fly, and I was deeply naive, and I was giving people the benefit of the doubt that I quite frankly should not have given them the benefit of the doubt at all. But I didn't know any of that, because I had never been in politics before, because I never wanted to do this. I tell you this story because I understand deeply how disappointing it can be to wake up and realize that you were lied to by the people you trusted to tell you the truth. I trusted so many people on the conservative right to tell me the truth. And I've done a lot of reverse engineering. I've done a lot of reverse engineering of everything that happened to me in 2020. And I look back on it now, and I understand that I was just a pawn for them to use the entire time. And that's all it was. And then the minute that I became inconvenient for them, the minute I stopped using their talking points, which, by the way, was after Joe Biden got inaugurated, the minute that I stopped using their talking points, I had hit pieces planted on me. I was smeared to within an inch of my sanity. I was attacked all the fucking time. I had so much shit happen to me just because I deviated off of the talking points. And not only was I being attacked by the establishment, mostly Zionist Jews, PragerU, but I was also being attacked by just average normie conservatives who were so committed to their talking points that they just wanted to be told what they wanted to hear. Because when I built the audience, the subscriber count that this channel has, many of those people were just normie conservatives who said, I want to believe that a Democrat left the left and they're on our side now. Well, if the only reason people followed me was because I left the left and they thought that I was on their team, what do you think is going to happen, and what do you think the reaction is going to be when they find out that, oh, wait, this bitch has a mind of her own and she's not following the talking points anymore? So there was a lot of backlash from that. And of course, the minute you start saying things that the average normie conservative doesn't like, they run around going, you're insane, you're mentally ill. This is what conservatives love to do to people who say things they don't like. They go, you're literally insane. And then they start posting all over the place about how you're literally insane. And then all of a sudden, people think you're crazy, but no one ever really asks why. There are so many people on the internet who to this day post, she's just crazy, she's psychotic, she's mentally ill. Do they ever give a reason for that? She yells on the internet. Okay, why does she yell on the internet? Is it because people are constantly attacking her and lying about her? Do any of you think that if you were constantly being attacked and lied about, that you might yell too? So I say this because someone said earlier that, like, it's a humbling experience to wake up and to realize that the people you trusted to tell you the truth lied to you. It's a humbling experience to wake up and realize how much you don't know about a subject. It's a and I think that is a humbling experience for a lot of conservatives where I have countless stories. I have countless stories of people who have come on my channel thinking that they understand the left. And then they watch my content for a week or 2 weeks. And then they come back and they say, shit, Karlyn, I've never seen any of this. I thought I knew what I was talking about, but I had no idea. And I'm like, I know. And the reason I know is that I learned all this information live on the internet. I have been watching full DEI trainings on this channel since the beginning of 2021. That used to be what we would do. We hadn't gotten to the radical revolutionary far left yet. We were just watching the DEI trainings. We would watch trainings about whiteness. We would watch trainings about anti-racism. We would watch the things that were given in corporate America. We would watch what Robin DiAngelo was actually teaching and actually like writing about in her book and stuff like that. And you can go back and find it. You can find it on this channel. You can find an archive on another channel I have, the Actively Unwoke channel. I have massive archives of DEI trainings. The reason I bring this up is that in almost every single one of those DEI trainings, they were talking about capitalism. In almost every single training that you think is going to be about race, and we would watch these trainings because we thought, like, these leftists are going to say a lot of crazy things about race and we want to watch them and laugh at them. That was the original thought. And then you watch the actual DEI trainings and all you see is they're talking about capitalism in every single one of these trainings. And this was confusing to me. I was always like, why the fuck are they always talking about capitalism? And people in the chat, I have people in the chat that have been around for 4 or 5 years on this channel. They can attest to this. We were always confused, like, why the fuck are they talking about capitalism so fucking much? This is a training about whiteness. Well, it turns out that once you keep watching enough of these trainings and you keep finding the people that created the trainings and you keep kind of working your way back to the original origin points of these ideas, all of a sudden, you end up at the radical revolutionary far left. And yeah, Reagan was around back then. They were always bringing up capitalism in these DEI trainings. Why? Because whiteness has nothing to do with skin color. It was never about skin color. I understand the perspective that some people have when they say the left is anti-white and the left hates white people. I understand why you think that. You can even point to low-level, low IQ retards that are harvested for clickbait talking about how much they hate white people. There are always these exceptions to the rule where you can find some retard in the world to put on TikTok talking about how much they hate white people. However, when you actually listen to hundreds, if not thousands, of DEI trainings, as I have done, the full training, not just the clickbait, you find out this has nothing to do with skin color at all. It has to do with the system that upholds racism. The system that upholds racism is capitalism. When you start listening to the real Marxists that are writing the books about these things, that are actually conducting the trainings, you start to realize, oh shit, this has nothing to do with skin color. This is a completely different thing. Now, there are dissident right-wingers who have valid arguments to make about demographics and race, okay? These are valid questions to ask. They're valid conversations to have. The questions that dissident right-wingers have about race and white genocide and all that have nothing to do with what the Marxist left is pushing. These are two different problems, and they both exist, and they're both real. But if you want to truly understand these problems, you have got to treat them as separate problems because you're not talking about the same thing. You're going like this. And so once I had that revelation of like, this isn't about skin color at all. I'm watching all of these trainings. I'm actually watching the stuff that's done in corporate America. And I'm seeing clips taken out of context or slides taken out of context running all over Twitter saying, they hate white people, pinky swear, trust us, bro. And then I actually go and watch the training and I find out they're not even talking about skin color. And this happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so that was the first time that I really woke up and learned how much these people that I trusted had lied to me about what was going on. And that it was never about skin color at all, and it was never about them hating white people at all. It had to do with their desire to abolish capitalism. And you can make the argument, and I think it's a valid argument to make, that all of this comes from the same place, and that's the Jews who are the majority of the Bolsheviks. Okay, fine. But you have to understand that's a separate discussion. And the lack of nuance that people have about these issues is directly related to the slop that conservative influencers and the media feed them every single day. And now I look at these people, and I look at people that I used to trust. I look at people that I used to consider friends. And it is incredibly humbling to know how I was tricked. And it is incredibly humbling to know how badly I was used. And so I guess I'm saying that I understand that when people come to the channel and they learn, oh shit, I don't really know as much as I thought I know. Believe me, I get it. And it sucks. It sucks to have that revelation. It sucks that I'm watching one of the few people that I still respected in the conservative influencer sphere actively craft a narrative that is completely unhinged from reality. So let's go back and watch this video again. So Andy No wants us to believe that the Catholic Church shooter is some left-wing Marxist Trantifa radical. Okay, let's watch the video again, and let's all just point out every single time in this video that the shooter says or does something that is completely left-wing. I am not having this conversation right now, but yes, Jews absolutely do have something to do with this. And if you don't believe me, you can buy my book. It's called A Brief History of Racism. Jews invented the fucking concept of systemic racism, Louise. Listen. Hang on. I'll pull it up. A Brief History of Racism. So earlier this year, come on, load. I know my computer is screaming at me right now. I know. Earlier this year, I wrote a book called A Brief History of Racism. You can buy this book on Amazon. Here is the link. It is available on Kindle and in paperback. No, there's not an audio version because I haven't recorded one yet. The reason I bring this book up is that I've talked way too much today. The reason I bring this book up is that this book is a tiny little book, and basically what I did is I went back to the invention of the term racism, which happened in 1902, by the way. The term racism was invented in 1902, and I tracked the origin and the evolution of the term racism. Because what I wanted to understand was, how did the term racism mutate over time? How has the term racism been used when it's by the chief people who are talking about it in the world? Well, racism was invented in 1902 by a guy named William Henry Pratt, I believe. And but he was the first person to use the term. But the most prominent person right after him to use the term was Trotsky. Trotsky, who is Jewish, popularized the term racism to mean the system that creates inequality. And he utilized the term racism as a Marxist attack on capitalism. Trotsky did not invent the term racism. It was already in the dictionary before he used it. But Trotsky, and again, I have all the receipts in this book, Trotsky was the person that popularized the term racism. He wrote an entire book about the term racism, and he used it as a class tool to attack capitalism. So to say the Jews are not involved in this, bullshit. Not all the Jews. Of course, we're talking about a very small group of Jewish intellectuals. But the fact of the matter is that most of the leadership in the Bolsheviks, in the Russian Revolution, were Jewish. Most of the intellectuals in the Frankfurt School, which created critical theory in the first place, were Jewish. So to say that the Jews were not involved in this is just completely wrong. Now, have there also been a lot of non-Jews involved in this? Of course. Absolutely. You get into the civil rights era with this book, you're going to see a whole lot of Black Panthers involved in this, I promise you. You get into like all the DEI trainers that started coming up in like the 2000s and the 2010s. Those are a lot of white people, and most of them were not Jewish. So I'm not making the argument, and I have never made the argument. No, it didn't, Louise. Stop making... Okay, Louise, when do you think the term racism was invented? In all of your research, I spent months researching this. Louise, in all of your research, When do you think the term racism was actually invented, and can you provide us with some evidence, please? Because I'm guessing you have no fuck off idea when the term racism was invented, and I'm betting you have no fuck off idea when these ideas were perpetuated, or why they were perpetuated, or what the people who perpetuated them were saying. My book is filled with quotes. It is filled with actual evidence. It is filled with sources. You can go and look that shit up on your own. Where's your evidence? We're waiting. It is not accurate to say that only Jews are perpetuating this. There are a lot of people on the far left who are not Jewish. I know people don't want to hear this, but that is the truth. There are a lot of people who perpetuate these ideas now that are not Jewish. But when we're talking about the origin point of communism, when we're talking about the origin point of Marxist activism that we have to deal with in the United States, the vast majority of people at the origin point were Jewish. Fact. I'm not making a value judgment. I am stating a fact. Anyway. So going back to our video. Because Andy No is convinced that the Catholic school shooter was a left-wing Antifa, Trantifa militant, I just want to watch the video one more time, and I want us to just stop. You're gonna shut the fuck up. No more. No more. You're done. You are at your limit for the amount of bullshit you're gonna put in my chat. In fact, you're going into timeout, so I don't have to hear from you for 5 minutes. As we go through this video, I want us to stop. And I want us to point out all of the overtly left-wing things this person says and does in this video. Okay? I have to fix the sound. Hang on. So disappointing. So very, very disappointing. Okay. We are going to make it through the video, and then I'm going to end the stream.
Here's my note to my family and shit. Wow, some English writing. Wow. Hope you can read that. Yeah. Peace, love, unity, and guns. Baka, my brata. Baka. Nine millimeter. Get fucked. This message brought to you by BlackRock and ExxonMobil. Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon. Brandon Herrera for president.
So this is the first overtly left-wing thing that happens in this video. The Trantifa, Antifa leftist terrorist just brought up a gun YouTuber that runs a gun and firearm channel who ran as a Republican for office, and he endorsed him for president. What an overtly left-wing Trantifa thing to do. To bring up a Republican influencer who runs a firearms channel. Overtly left-wing, indeed. And say, that person for president. Okay.
Yeah, I met Brandon Herrera at SHOT Show last year. He and I had a brief conversation, but like, we agreed on a lot of things. So y'all should vote for Brandon Herrera for president. And Vintage Warfare promotes love and peace and accepting differences. Tomorrow, I'm sorry to my family, but that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to. Fuck those kids. Skibbity, skibbity. Shit. I regret everything. I didn't ask for life. You didn't ask for death. I'll make my own fucking stars. And yeah, watch my 9mm go bang.
Okay, so now he's gonna, oh, look at this, nigga, right there. Now he's gonna show us all the overtly left-wing Trantifa propaganda on his guns. Okay, you guys ready for some Trantifa propaganda to prove this guy's a leftist? It's gonna start with the word nigga over here, which leftists never use, but don't let why aren't any of the conservative influencers showing the screenshots where it says the N-word that are twice in this video? Why do you think that is? Taking a screenshot of this. Oh shit. Switched my screen. Now, he does have something with the word queer on it. Okay, so we can put one notch in the left-wing column.
Poker, baby. Why so curious?
I'm sorry, what's that word? I didn't even see this. What's that word? What's that word? Do you think that far-left Trantifa activists use the term faggot? I think left-wing Trantifa activists use the term faggot about as often as they use the term nigga. Which is, they don't.
Where's your fucking God now? Shit. Skibbity Riz. Scum gang.
Kick a spick. Is this something that we hear a lot of left-wing Trantifa activists saying? Do a lot of left-wing Trantifa activists use the term kick a spick? I must have missed that because I've never heard them use that term before. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Do we often hear far left Trantifa activists saying the term nigga? No.
The big boy. Fucking rip and tear. That's the big one. Don't forget to live, laugh, and love. Samantha. And this one's for me, in case I need it.
Yeah, there are people that do that, Alpha Wolf. I know what you're talking about.
Some smoke. Extra
Oh,
thick.
shit! I didn't even see this. Guys, do we oftentimes see far left Trantifa activists holding a smoke bomb that says extra thick Jew gas? Does that sound like something that we have ever heard far left? Now, I know if you listen exclusively to conservative media, you've probably been tricked into thinking that the left are Jew haters. But the fact of the matter is, most of the activists on the pro-Palestine movement are actually Jewish activists. They're an organization called Jewish Voice for Peace. And I promise you, Jewish Voice for Peace has never made a video with a gas bomb canister that says extra thick Jew gas. This is
Extra thick. Eat shit, motherfucker. Koshmar.
Nuke India. Are there a lot of left-wing Trantifa activists that want to nuke India? Oh, there's the Israel one. There's the Israel one. The left certainly doesn't like Israel, that's true. What did that say? Fuck optics. Huh.
Got that bitch loaded.
What I am saying, to be explicit for the people in the back who need me to say it again for the 8,000th time, this person is not a leftist. There is no universe in which this person is a leftist. If you think this person is a leftist, you have been lied to by influencers, and you need to stop listening to the people that you listen to. Because there is no fuck off universe in which this person is a leftist. Based on the primary source evidence that I am painstakingly walking through again, because all of you conservative retards have convinced yourself he is a Trantifa leftist. This is a mentally ill person who was probably abused by a Catholic priest. That is what this is. There is no universe. Oh, I've got some idiot over on Rumble going, "You're a liberal." See, this is what conservatives do. If I present primary source evidence pointing out in painstaking detail that there is no possibility that this person is on the left, conservatives go, "You're just a liberal." Bro, you're not smart enough to be on my channel. You're permanently banned over on Rumble. Goodbye. This is what happens. You're a liberal because you're not telling us what you want to hear and you're not coddling our feelings. Let's continue. The left doesn't say nothing ever happens, by the way. Ted Kaczynski. Do you guys see a lot? Ted K. Do you guys see a lot of Trantifa activist leftists talking about Ted Kaczynski? Have I just missed that part? Because I actually do like Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. I'm kind of like a nerd about Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. And so I promise you, if leftists had been talking about Ted Kaczynski, I probably would have found it by now. But no, there's Ted Kaczynski right on the, along with kill pedos. Why aren't conservative? This is the best screenshot I have of this yet. Kill pedos. It's almost as if this person was molested when he was younger by someone having affiliation with the church he shot up. I bet he got everything wrong, didn't he? I bet he didn't even look at the evidence. I bet he said, "These are tranny leftists. Trust me, bro."
I don't want to be here. Well, you're here. Fuck you. Oh, another one.
Waco. Do we see a lot of Trantifa leftists talking about Waco? Waco. Yes, of course you see that on Twitter because they're using it to say this was a Jew hater that hates Israel. They're trying to make this seem like an anti-Semitic act. That's why you see that on Twitter. Of course you see that on Twitter. Anti-Semitism is part of the narrative. Gotta feed that narrative. Have you seen Nuke India on Twitter? Have you seen the kill pedo image on Twitter? Have you seen where he said nigga multiple times on Twitter? Bet you haven't seen any of that, but they made damn well sure you saw the anti-Semitism. Guys, he committed an anti-Semitism. We got to tell everyone, and now we have to make this horrible tragedy, which, by the way, Catholic kids died. We have to make this horrible tragedy about the Jews, otherwise we're committing an anti-Semitism.
Where should we get motherfucking Breivik?
Kill Trump now. Well, that, I mean, you could interpret that as left wing, I guess, although many people on the right don't like Trump either. Although, to be honest, the real, like, Antifa actually loves Trump. You guys understand this, right? Antifa uses Trump to recruit. Antifa is expanding their ranks, like, much faster under Trump than they are under Joe Biden. So, oh, wow, 4chan also hates Trump? You mean there are a lot of people on the right that hate Trump? Wow.
Fuck Nigel. That dude raped someone. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Got my new headphones so I can hear them scream. Nice.
Mark Dice says he only hated Jews because the left only sees Jews through intersectionality where they're seen as white people. Oh my fucking God. That is about the stupidest thing I've ever heard on the internet. The reason the left, first of all, the left doesn't hate Jews. The left doesn't care if people are Jewish. The left hates Israel because Israel are the settler colonists that stole the land from the Palestinians. Which the left will tell you. Mark Dice, certified retard.
Here's my belt.
6 million. Do we oftentimes see far left Trantifa say 6 million wasn't enough? Because again, I understand that this is a conservative talking point that your lying influencers have given you. But when you actually listen to the real far left, they don't talk about the Jews. They talk about Israel. They talk about Israel stealing land from Palestinians. They talk about the Palestinians being in a glorious decolonization struggle against their capitalist bourgeois settler colonist oppressors. We have watched hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You just got banned. We have watched hours and hours and hours and hours of protest footage. We have watched probably more pro-Palestine events than any non-communist on the internet. There has not been a single event, not a single protest, in which we have ever seen anything to the effect of 6 million wasn't enough. The left does not talk about the Jews. The left talks about Israel, and then the conservative influencers lie to their audiences because they're trying to demonize it. Because here's what's going on. Conservatives want nothing more than to make everyone think that the left are the real racists. Have you guys noticed this? It's not right-wingers who are racist. It's the left who are racist. That's the argument. Therefore, every time conservative influencers have a chance to twist a piece of information to make it seem like, guys, it's the Democrats that are the real racists. It's not us. We love everyone, and we want a multicultural society, and we just love all people. We love all immigrants, and we want all immigrants to be here as long as they're legal, and we want Trump to be able to import as many people from China and India and Africa as he can, and we just love all people because we conservatives are not racist. It is the Democrats who are racist. Did you know the Democrats started the KKK? Did you know the Democrats are the ones that are judging people by skin color? This is the conservative narrative. And it's the same thing when it comes to Israel. Because what conservative influencers have done is take pro-Palestine activism, which is not anti-Jewish, which is led by Jewish organizations. Jewish Voice for Peace is one of the largest pro-Palestine organizations on the left. They are a Jewish organization. They overtly say, we are Jewish and we are against Israel and we are pro-Palestine. Conservatives have taken pro-Palestinian activism and have twisted it to say, it's the left who are the anti-Semites. We love Israel and we want to give Israel all our money and we just want to support everything Israel does because we're not racist. We're not hateful. We're not anti-Semitic. It's the left. The left are the anti-Semites. And so they take these things and they twist them because the left opposes Israel, so the right says they're anti-Semitic, because according to the right, it is anti-Semitic to oppose Israel. This person isn't talking about Israel. They're talking about Jews. This person is actually being anti-Semitic. And I promise you, if this person ever went to any leftist pro-Palestine meeting, this idea would be shouted down and basically excommunicated from that room. Because the left also does a lot of presentations on how to combat anti-Semitism. They just have a different definition of anti-Semitism than the right does. And you can look at any socialist YouTube channel and see that. So I understand why, if you're a conservative, you might think that the left are anti-Semitic, and that's why you think he's a leftist. Because your influencers have lied to you about what's going on. But there is no universe in which any far-left Antifa activist is putting 6 million wasn't enough on anything. That is not going to happen.
Yeah. Stupid, worthless, useless bitch. You gonna be English. That's some fucking good shit, man. Plug. Oh yeah, check. I got my shirt. Skajoo. Better than the best. I got my Minnesota patch. In the fucking FSB. Maybe I look like a cop and I won't get rushed or something. I don't know. But shit, let's fucking do this before anxiety kicks in. Yep. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, oh yeah. Check this out. Got more Jew gas taped on this end.
He just said, I've got more Jew gas taped on this end. Oh, look, Nick Fuentes agrees with me. Calmer heads. See, you know what? Young Nicholas is precocious, and I disagree with him on some things. You know, I was just in an argument earlier where people were demanding that I denounce Nick Fuentes, and I was basically like, fuck you. That's not going to happen. Listen, I might disagree with Nick on some things. I certainly disagree with him on the whole Christianity thing, obviously. But Nick is right. This is not a politically motivated thing. This is mental illness. This is mental illness as the result, probably, of being molested by a fucking priest. Which Nick is not going to say that because that's going to besmirch his Catholic Church, and I understand that. But he is absolutely correct that there is no ideological motivation.
This will be for the emergency.
Do we see a lot of left-wing Antifa using that symbol, by the way? Because I only exclusively see that on the dissident right. Maybe left-wingers do use it, but has anyone ever seen the left wing use that particular symbol? Because I literally only see that on the right. Almost like he got that off of 4chan. Yeah?
Exit. Pop it through the hand. Oh, there's Garfield. This is all too fucking real. Nigga.
Oh, there it is. Oh, the very left wing term. Hang on. Oh, rewind, just so people see. Just gotta make sure. The very extremely left-wing Antifa term of nigga.
Nigga. Yeah. Tomorrow. I love you. Hate you. It's world as we know it. And I feel really good.
So, I asked this earlier. I'll ask it again. Where is the evidence? Andy, no. Where is the evidence that this was far left Trantifa activism? Where's the evidence? Where's the receipts? Where were the triangles? If it was a far leftist, there would be. This is queer Marxism. We know this person is queer Marxist because they're wearing pink and black, which are their colors, and they're talking about bashing back. Bashing back is very specific language. This is a queer Marxist. If that guy had been a queer Marxist, there would have been upside down triangles drawn all over the fucking place or anarchist symbols drawn all over the fucking place. Where were they? Instead, we see Nuke India, Ted Kaczynski, Waco, Nigga, kill pedos because this person was probably molested and has mental illness because of it. Conservatives love trans people. They invite them over onto the right all the time. There are many, like, if I had to put a stake in the ground, if a trans person is an autogynephiliac, which is a sexual fetish, which I think this person was. I think this person was an autogynephiliac, and that's why they were trans. There are many more trans people on the right that are autogynephiliacs than are on the left. I'm sorry. People on the left play with gender as a political statement. People on the right are doing this stuff, not all the time, but I have absolutely encountered more than a few conservative trans people who are doing it because they are autogynephiliacs. I'm not going to say too much more because I've already been talking for 3 hours and my throat is like pretty dry at this point. But like, I just don't understand why we can't have a nuanced conversation about this. I just don't understand why the first priority of everyone, including people I trusted, including people that I thought were above board, including people that I thought cared about fucking evidence, I just don't understand why we're lying to people, millions of people, in order to push a political narrative rather than telling the fucking truth. Kev, who is a trans person, by the way, says 90% are autogynephiliacs. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say about this. I'm really disappointed. It's been a really tough day, and I'm really disappointed with what I'm seeing, and it's so stupid, and it's just like, this is a tragedy, and all people, this is a tragedy, this is an actual tragedy, and all people want to do is score political talking points. And this is why I usually don't even involve myself with these people at all. This is why I just don't involve myself with these people. This is why I don't kiss the asses of conservative influencers to get on their shows. This is why I don't go on any other content creators' shows. It's because every single time, literally every single time that I've gone on someone's show or I've created content with them or in some way, okay, maybe not every single time, but the vast majority of times that I've interacted with other content creators on the internet, they end up disappointing me. And it's like, I can only take so many times of being what feels like being stabbed in the back. So this is why I don't get myself involved in this shit. And it's why I will never, I would love for my content to reach more people. Because I know as soon as my content gets in front of people, they respond to it. I know that. When we were out of the YouTube shadow ban for like a couple weeks, I got over 5,000 new subscribers to the channel within like a couple of weeks. When I broke out of the YouTube shadow ban and people were finding my content, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome content. I'm like, I fucking know. I've been here the whole time. When people actually sit and watch my content on the left, they respond to it, and I know they appreciate it. I would love to get my content in front of more people. I am not willing to interact with con artists and liars in order to do it. Because I now have enough experience in this space to know that that literally never ends well. Every single time that I've interacted with a liar and a con artist and someone who will tell their audience exactly what the audience wants to hear, it always ends up with me being disappointed. Always. And by the way, I usually never get as much out of it as people think I do. Yes. We refuse to lower ourselves to the level of the Thorpes or the level of the MAGA grifters or any of that. And, you know, my content will always have less viewers because of that, and that's fine. But at least I won't be surrounded. At least I won't be living in the land of retardia all day, every day. So that is all I really have to say about that. We will do the Sophie Lewis video another day. I apologize for people who are looking forward to Sophie, but maybe we can do Sophie tomorrow. We can do Sophie tomorrow. I really thought this shooter thing was going to take like an hour tops. I was like, this shooter thing isn't even going to take that long. I'm going to have like so much time left to fill. Why don't we just watch Sophie today? No, it took the whole fucking stream. Anyway, at least you guys know the truth. And that'll have to be good enough for now. Take care, guys. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Please mount the like button on the way out the door. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And come back tomorrow. Maybe I won't yell as much. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling?
Well,
How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
To give you some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them.
piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.